Good afternoon, sir. My name is Steven Restrepo, and I'm going to be your social worker today. I'm going to help you out with your problems. What seems to bring you in?
My name is Jamie O'Connell. I've suffered alcoholism for many years. It's caused the downfall of my marriage. I've lost custody of my children. Picked up a couple bad habits along the way. That's that's what I'd like to go into.
I'm sorry to hear that. You must be bothered by that.
I am extremely bothered.
So, you said you've been an alcoholic for how many years?
Uh, 15 years. Ever since I left college. Never really stopped.
Okay, so around what age would you say you started drinking?
I started drinking casually at like probably 16 years old.
Alright, so I'm just going to clarify a few things. So, you said you first started casually using alcohol at the age of 16, and then it advanced more into an actual drinking habit at the age of 18 and 19, like your father was at one point in his lifetime?
Yeah, so my father was drinking probably every night, and he would take out his anger on my mother and I, and I think I kind of developed the same habit around 18, 19 years old. When I was having problems, I would really just turn to alcohol to help me solve those problems. And I don't think it ever really got anything done, except cause a lot of problems in my life.
So when you started using it like your father did at one point in his lifetime, would you take out your anger on someone else, or what would happen when you would consume alcohol at the level or amount that your father did?
I was never physically abusive with anyone, but verbally, I'd say a lot of people have been hurt by me, my drunk words. That's not something I'm proud of, and I never mean to hurt anyone, but I know when I drink, my words can certainly get out of hand. So I'd say I probably, verbally have hurt people.
So I feel like this problem of you drinking has stemmed off from your father. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd say that'd be, correct.
At what age did you begin to notice that your father had a problem with alcohol? Was it when you were younger? Was it once you already got older and like looked back at your childhood? Tell me about your experience.
So I think I really realized it when I was about 17 years old. It was when I was drinking already, and that's when I kind of noticed that my father would have a drink every night. He would always get to the point where he was slurring words and taking out his anger on me and my mother. So I'd say that was kind of when I truly realized that he was an alcoholic.
And so when you began drinking at 16, was it with your friends, or was it just something you wanted to like experience, or what exactly was it?
Yeah, it started, in high school.
So was it
my
just like
friends,
your friends?
just casually,
Okay.
yeah.
And would you ever say your friends were a bad influence at you at all, or?
I wouldn't say so, because, everyone drinks. I feel like all people go through a phase like that.
So, Mr. O'Connell, just a few seconds ago, you were talking about how your dad was abusive to you and your mother. Can you explain to me or tell me any experiences or memories that you had from those situations in your household?
Yeah, so I had actually a lot of experiences with abuse with my father. One of the ones that stood out to me the most was I came home from my senior night when I was a senior in high school. Neither of my parents had come to my game, and when I got home, they were arguing. There was an open bottle of whiskey on the table. My father, once he saw me, immediately pushed my mom away and grabbed me, took me outside. My mom was crying.
Take your time.
And he beat me outside. And he went back inside, and I was bleeding on the floor of my lawn. And I could hear my mom screaming at him, yelling at him to stop. I could tell he was hurting her too. When I went back to go inside, he chased me back out of the house, beat me again, and that's when when I got my keys and I left, I went to my friend's house, and that was probably the worst experience I had was drinking.
It's very hard to hear, Mr. O'Connell. No human being should have to go through that physical and emotional pain. At any moment when you were living at home, did you ever feel like home was actually home at all? Can you explain to me some of the emotions you were going through at that time?
So when I was a young kid, home did feel like home. I felt safe. I felt loved. I loved my parents. But as I started to get older, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel loved. I felt alone. I felt I had nobody to turn to. I felt like
So you're telling me that you had no one else to turn to. Was there anyone else in the household, like siblings, that you could talk to about the problems that were going on?
no, I was an only child.
How about your mother? How was the relationship between you and your mother? Did you ever, or were you able to go up to her and tell her what was going on?
My mother and I definitely had a good relationship, and we still do. However, I did not ever talk to her about how I was really feeling, especially about this kind of stuff, because I know that she's going through a lot too. I never wanted to put more on her. I always made sure she knew that I loved her, and that if she needed to, she could talk to me about certain things, but she wouldn't come to me, and I wouldn't go to her about any of the problems with my father.
So you didn't want to talk to your mother about what was going on because you didn't want to overwhelm her more than what she already was?
Right.
And how was the relationship between you and your mother now to this current day?
So yeah, it's good. We still actually talk pretty much every day. I talk to her, especially since what's been going on with my family. My mother's been a big shoulder for me to lean on.
And how about your father? What's going on with him at this current moment?
We actually don't know where my father is. We cut off communications with him, and he moved away. We don't know where he is.
Alright, so I'm going to give you a small hypothesis about this current problem, and I want you to give me your feedback on it and what you think on it, about what I'm going to tell you. So do you believe that your current drinking problems have stemmed off from what your father did to you and your mother when you were younger? What do you think about that?
I think, yeah, that probably.
Along with what I just said, is it also possible that your drinking habits have gotten out of hand because you wanted to forget of the things that happened in your childhood?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Alright, so I'm going to put this problem aside for a second. I'm going to want to switch topics over to the downfall of your marriage, because I know you said that was an issue that also happened because of your alcohol drinking. So can you tell me about what happened with your marriage?
So I kept my drinking a secret from my wife for 6 years of marriage. In that time, we had a couple children, and I know that she thought I drank casually, but I would always abuse my alcohol use without telling her. When she found out, she was infuriated with me, especially for not coming to her with that problem. She wanted to help me through it.
So since you said there was a downfall to your marriage, what exactly was it that happened? So what were some of the actions that you did that led to that downfall?
There were times when I was too drunk to pick up my kids from school, too drunk to go to their sporting events. There's times I was at the bar when I should have been home with my family. There's days where I woke up too hungover to go to work, which didn't help our financial troubles. I think after years of this going on, my wife had enough, and she took my kids and they left.
You said that your wife just ended up leaving you. What happened to your marriage?
So my wife divorced me. She got custody of both of our children.
Okay, so you're saying you have 2 kids. Tell me a little bit about them.
They're both girls, aged 8 and 11. They love soccer.
They love soccer. Okay. At any point in their lifetime, did you ever abuse them or treat them as bad as your father did at one point in your life?
No, I would never lay a finger on my children.
And how does that make you feel that you ended up losing your kids?
I mean, I know that I've dropped the ball in the past, but I know that I'm also capable of being better, and it's pretty unfortunate that the court doesn't let me see them as much as I wish I could.
And is that something that you want to work on? Work on like getting better to end up seeing them more?
Yeah, definitely.
So you're saying that you would like to work on your drinking problem for your kids?
For my kids, yeah.
How about for your wife? Would you want to get your marriage back, or your main focus is just your kids at this moment?
I'm not happy with my wife because of the way this is all turning out. However, I think I'd like to work on my marriage as well.
So I know you're saying that you would want to work on your drinking problem to help with your kids and your marriage, but I'm just wondering, at all, do your kids know the problem that you have, or are they aware of it?
I wouldn't say they know. I don't think my ex-wife would have told them anything about it, but up until the point that I was with them, they didn't know.
How would you feel if I was able to set you and your family up with a family counselor or therapist that could help you guys solve the issues that you guys were currently having, or talk it out?
I would definitely jump at that opportunity. I think talking things out with my family with the help of counseling is something that could heal us. Because I know right now, I know that I do need help before that can happen though. Because I know my problem's still a little out of hand, but that's something I'd definitely be interested in doing down the road.
All right, so I think I may have a small hypothesis to this problem, but I'm going to talk about that in the end. So I'm going to talk about another problem that you told me earlier in the conversation. You said that you started to develop some bad habits. What are those habits that you begin to develop?
So lately I've been not only biting my nails, but I smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, and I also been smoking marijuana. So those are things that I have not done before my marriage failed. And those are just some of the things that I've been doing to help me get through this time.
So you wouldn't even smoke cigarettes or marijuana when you were younger. This just started with when you were married and your alcoholism?
Yeah.
Mr. O'Connell, so now that we've talked about all these problems, I'm going to want to culminate everything together and put them into one. So it seems to me like everything has really stemmed from your childhood and your father's alcoholism and the abuse he had, and because of that, over a period of time, your drinking problem has increased more and more, to the point where eventually in your marriage, it led to your downfall, and it led to you losing your kids, but also along with that, it started bad habits of you, like biting your nails, like you said, smoking cigarettes, and using marijuana. How does that sound to you? Is that accurate, or is there anything different that I might have missed?
No, that probably covers it. I think a big part of my problems today are from the childhood that I had and the experiences I had with my alcoholic father. So I'm trying not to be like him with my children, and I think I've done a good job of that. Abusively, however, I know I haven't been there, just like he wasn't there.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to want to have you in for a few more sessions, just because during these sessions I'm going to want to break up these problems little by little. So like on each session we're going to focus on one problem, but definitely the next session that we have, I'm going to want to start talking about your father, because before we get to anything like solving your marriage, solving your drinking problems, I'm going to want to solve your childhood problems, because that's where everything stemmed from. So once we're able to figure out your childhood problems with your father, then after that we're going to talk about your alcoholism. And after alcoholism, that's when I'm going to want to get your family involved into it, because then eventually that's going to culminate everything, and hopefully we're going to be able to solve every problem that you have. So I just told you a little overview about how our sessions are going to be ran. So what I'm going to want to do with you is meet with you 3 times a week for the next month and a half for about an hour 15 session. And hopefully after that month and a half, we're going to check on your progress and see how we're doing with every problem that we've had so far. And hopefully it's a good outcome. And if not, we'll go back and just add more sessions to it. Or if we need a different resource, if we need to find someone from the outside, then I'll refer you to that person if needed.
Okay, that sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you want to raise awareness to me at all?
I think we're good right now.
How do you feel about that today's session that's going?
I feel like it's been helpful, and I feel like I look forward to continuing in the future.
All right, sir. So, Mr. O'Connell, very nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
Hopefully, I'll see you next week for our first session. All right.
All right.